Hello everyone and welcome to the Minor Pokemon League podcast. I am your host Blue Rogue and this is episode 1.5. I wasn't particularly happy with the way I presented the live podcast for episode 1 on Twitch, so I decided I'd re-record it for YouTube and I feel it'll be a lot more clearer this time as I go through with more notes and more of a script really as I go through this. But anyway, today's podcast we're going to be talking about my thoughts on the coaches' drafts. We're going to be going over the bowl predictions which you sent in this week, as well as the week 1 fixtures, just briefly. So, without further ado, let's get on to the draft, shall we, and just see what I think of them overall. So, first of all, we have Sparrows draft. Sparrows draft consists of Blacephalon, Megapincer, Shiinotic, Blastoise, Gligar, Bisharp, Volbeat, Miltank, Klinklang, and Glade. Now, the pros of, Sparrows draft, of course you've got Blacephalon, Megapincers, two pretty big threats. The synergy of this draft isn't amazing, but it's got some good stuff here. He's got excellent removal, he's got a pretty nice mix, he's got a physical, cleaner and a special cleaner in Blacephalon and Megapincer. And of course you've got things like Volbeat, which Volbeat's pretty good value, 2.1, good utility on that mon. It's got Defog, it's got Tail Glow Pass for him, as well as great mons like Miltank, which is pretty fantastic in the format, even in majors, so in minors it should be pretty fantastic. Then he's got a few lackluster mons, Shiinotic, Klinklang, pretty bad mons overall. I don't like Klinklang on his team, but other than that, I think, you got some good stuff. The cons, I feel like it could be improved here. I think a better solid dark check would be nice for this team. Something that can take out those pesky pursuit trappers, which would potentially pursuit trap your Blacephalon. A good solid fighting type that's not Glade could be pretty useful on this team, I feel. It could also possibly use another, perhaps more bulky special attacker to take advantage of potential Tail Glow passes from Volbeat, because if you look at his team, special attackers are kind of lacking. He's got Blacephalon, and I guess Shiinotic and Blastoise as a push, but outside of that, he kind of needs a bit more presence on the special side. My suggestions for Sparrows, if you're watching this, I suggest getting a stronger fighting type, and maybe another solid special attacker. In fact, my suggestions specifically for Mons, I think something once he gets his bonus points in order. By the way, in the minor Pokemon League, I should explain, you do get bonus points as the season goes on, so he has potential to earn 4 points per week if he uploads on time and battles on time. So, actually, is it more than that? No, it's definitely 4 points per week. Anyway, my suggestions is perhaps a Chestnut. I think something like Chestnut and maybe paired with Comfey would be pretty nice. Chestnut would offer spike support, which would definitely help out Megapincer, because it appreciates all the hazards it can get on the opponent's side of the field. And Chestnut will be able to deal with those dark types that Blacephalon doesn't want to be able to deal with. So, that's my thoughts on Sparrows draft. I think it's okay. I think it has the makings of a solid draft if he makes a few minor adjustments in free agency. I think he'll have a decent season with it. Next up, we have Sebby. Sebby has a very, very good draft in my opinion. It's got a few flaws, but overall, I think it's got a great mix of physical and special attackers. And it's got a great mix of hazards, really. You got Toxic Spikes, you got Spikes, you got quite a few Stealth Rockers. You also got great synergy offensively overall with the likes of Mega Gardevoir and Cobalion, especially. You got solid priority, you got the quick attack on Diggersby, you got Ice Shard with Cloyster, that's what it's called. As well as, I guess, extreme speed on Raichu, but you're probably never going to run that. And of course, quick attack on Cobalion, which is, of course, you're probably never going to run either. But I think there are weaknesses. I think he has pretty shaky removal. He's got Golbat, really, and he's got Golbat. So I think... Oh, and wait, he's also got Cloyster as a spinner, which isn't a terrible spinner, but there are better ones out there. Maybe not in minors, but in general. I think, yeah, maybe something, another spinner or defogger could be useful just to get the pressure off Golbat or Cloyster coming every week. It's kind of weak to fighting, in fact very weak to fighting, but also not, because yes, he has a ×4 resisting Gardevoir, yes, he has a ×4 resisting Golbat, and of course a Gaparitas trap, so I'm not too worried about the fighting weakness really. It's more the knockoff weakness I see as an issue. He's got a lot of Eevee-like users and the Ghost type, and yes, he has a justified Cobalion, but I feel like there's a lot of potential for knockoff spam regardless, and yeah, you can put the fear of Cobalion switching into those knockoffs in your opponent, but I'm not sure. I feel like it needs a few more solid like knockoff switch-ins to be really good. It's also kind of weak to rain, but not really. I note that because there was 2 rain teams in this basically this pool of coaches at the moment, so that's something to consider as well. Honestly though, I think it's a very, very good draft regardless. I think that Sebby is drafted very well. I think he's going to use his team very, very, very effectively. So there's a couple of like weaknesses, but every draft has them. And I feel like this is probably one of the most solid drafts that the minors coaches have drafted, in all honesty. I think my suggestion for him is maybe drop Ferroseed. Ferroseed not really doing too much for you. And maybe pick up something like a Masquerain, because Webs could be very frightening with Mega Gardevoir. Well, Lurantis could also be pretty useful as well for defog purposes, but Lurantis is not too great. Masquerain could be better, I feel. But Masquerain could potentially fit on this team. But even if he doesn't make any changes, I think this is a very solid team overall. So let's move on. We have Mass and his Mastodon Gastrodons. The team name, you can't help but say the whole name every time you say it. So, yeah, I think Mass, he has very decent defensive synergy. I think Gyarados and Blaziken work very well together in that regard. Dugtrio's trapping ability is going to be very useful. Credilli was a very smart pick on Mass's part because, like I said, there's 2 rain teams in this pool of 8 coaches, which is something to very much consider when you're drafting how you're going to handle rain. Decent spread of hazards on this team as well. You got 2 sticky web users. You got a couple of 3 stealth rockers. I apologise, there's 3 of them. And yeah, that's a pretty decent draft here by Mass. For Mass, he likes to draft some weird stuff and use weird sets as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it does. But the cons of this draft, I think it has a hard time breaking bulky waters, just offensively. Defensively, it can sort of handle them, but offensively, he's got Pikachu and Z moves to help him out. But I think he definitely could use something that can reliably take on bulky water types offensively and defensively. And also his removal is pretty shaky as well. He's got Defog on Blaziken and he's got Spin on Claydol, and it's a Claydol. So my suggestion for Mass, maybe when he's got the points available to him, maybe drop Pikachu for the likes of a Rotom-Mow. Rotom-Mow I think could be pretty decent. Nice pivot, another Defogger, and something that can deal with water types pretty effectively. So let us move on from Mass. I think it's a solid draft. Like I say, you got a good spread of hazards, you got a good defensive mod, you got great offensive synergy. I think, although it looks weird on paper, I think it's a very, very solid team overall. Next up, we have Noah and his Philadephia Aegislash. Now, when I look at Noah's team, I just see lots of good value picks. So we got very solid value rain in this team, the Mega Swampert, and of course the Politoed, having that nice rain core. Things helped out by rain as well, like Noivern and Keldeo, as well as Zeraora appreciates it, as does Klefki. The likes of Mashana, of course, do not appreciate the rain because Moonlight is its recovery, and I guess Synthesis on Bioplume as well gets nerfed slightly. But I think also, like, speaking of Vileplume, that's also pretty good for when he faces the Sun teams, because there's 4 weather teams in this. You got 2 Sun setters on 2 teams, and you got 2 rain setters on 2 teams. So Vileplume has viability in those Sun matchups, which could be nice. It also, doesn't do too bad in rain itself. And I think that, yeah, it has got good grass support as well. Basically good grass resist to help out Mega Swampert in the likes of Vileplume, I guess Pinsir as well, sort of, and Klefki. So yeah, plenty of like cheeky grass knot switch-ins, which is nice. The cons, hazards. Yes, he's got spikes with Klefki. Yes, he's got 2 rockers, but one of those rockers is Pinsir, and one of them is Mega Swampert, which you don't really want to be running rocks all the time. So I think he definitely needs another hazard setter. I also think he needs some more removal, or better removal. His removal at the moment is Klefki and Noivern. So a spinner might be nice, or just another reliable defogger. And yeah, I feel like this team, overall, compared to the other teams, it feels a little underpowered, but it's definitely got good value out of this team. My suggestions for him, if he wants to look at free agency things, maybe pick up something like Armaldo. Armaldo might be nice. It gives you another rocker, gives you a swift swim abuser, sort of. It's not really, because it's pretty slow. But it gives you another rocker, gives you a spinner, gives you some sort of weather bonus out of it as well. So Armaldo might be nice for this team. Also gives you a knockoff user, which you don't have many looking at it. I think, look at his knockoff users. What does he have? Reggie, Gigas, maybe Pinsir if he gets knockoff. I think it does. I can't remember. I think so. Maybe he does have quite a few knockoff users. Never mind. But overall, I think yeah, Armaldo might be nice to pick up as a start and build from there. So let's move on to Aronskii, our good friend Aronskii. Aronskii, in his own words, it's a very anti-meta team, which is interesting, and I think the very scary thing about this team is the combination of Whimsicott and Gothitelle. Whimsicott with that memento into a shadow tag Gothitelle is very scary and something people will have to prep very hard for. Of course, Ditto is also very useful on any draft team for the most part. And yeah, Aronskii's team. Overall, I like most of it. It's not got too many weaknesses. The cons though are the speed tiers are all over the place. You go from like Mega Aerodactyl, Whimsicott, and all the way down, I believe, to Rotom Heat, which is not ideal. So something in like the base 90 to 90 to 100 range. One in that range would be nice on this team, I feel. Also, his priority moves it's pretty poor overall. He's got Sucker Punch on a few mons, yes, but I feel like if you had like maybe I guess Griffin will get Shadow Sneak maybe, but more solid priority options might be nice for him. But I don't know, I guess my suggestion would be maybe pick up something like Zoroark. Maybe when although Eradicator's done its thing, because Zoroark would give you another solid special attacker. It's pretty cheeky with disguise and everything, and will give you another mon that's a little bit faster, because this team is pretty slow overall. So that's my suggestions for Aronskii. I think it's a cool draft. Like, it's got some great things about it. It's got like a multitude of hazards, plenty of removal, lots of good stuff there. It just needs a few little minor adjustments with the speed issue, and I think it'll be set to go. Next up, we have Rewt and his New Jersey Brobats. Rewt has a very well balanced team. I quite like it a lot. He has good removal, decent hazards, offensive synergy of Mega Pidgeot and Zygarde work very well together, because Zygarde's like main, like the first go-to counter with like grass types, and Mega Pidgeots and like Torkoal and Nidoking will just destroy those grass types for that Zygarde. So yeah, I can see Zygarde doing very well this season with this support. Let's think about the negatives of this draft, though. I think he has very few knockoff users. I think at the moment it is just Cincino, maybe Nido King. No, it doesn't get knockoff. But I feel like, yeah, he needs maybe another knockoff user that's not just Cincino. I think he needs more physical presence as well. He's got a lot of special attackers on his team. I guess. And his physical attackers are kind of limited to Zygarde, Steelix, but it's not really an attacking presence with Steelix, it's more defensive Mon, and Striker. So maybe another physical attacker would be quite nice. Which moves me on to my suggestion for Rewt. Maybe drop Lilligant when you have the points available to you for something like Shiftry. Shiftry will give you a dark type, it will give you a setup physical sweeper in the sun. It would also give you knockoff, and I guess it'll just give you another cheeky defogger as well, because at the moment your defoggers are not the worst. Your hazard removal isn't the worst. Mega Pidgeot's pretty solid hazard remover, as is Torkoal, but yeah. Getting Shiftry or something would give you nice. It gives you another defogger, gives you knockoff, gives you the setup sweeper in the sun, which isn't just like redundant as Lilligant is. So yeah, maybe something like Shiftry will be pretty nice for this draft. But let us move on to Tablemon. And Tablemon has an interesting team. I like it a lot. There's a few pros here. He's got the Regen Core, or the Bargain Basement Regen Core of Slowbro and Tangler. He's got the Zadwai, which is of course a monster in the format, especially in this limited pool of mons. And of course, I think the offensive synergy between Lycanroc and Zadwai is very scary indeed. You've got Zadwai able to destroy the things which will perhaps check Lycanroc quite well. So yeah, it also got very solid priority in Lycanroc with the Accelerock, Matang's Bullet Punch, the Sucker Punch from the likes of Honchkrow. But let's go on to the cons. I think that this is a team with Zadwai, and its hazard removal is not great. It's defog on Flygon or defog on Honchkrow, so I think maybe picking up a spinner, especially as you've got webs, could be handy. And I think also he has very poor hazards. Like he's got hazards on Lycanroc and hazards on Matang. You don't really want to bring in like rocks on Lycanroc every week, and you don't really want to be bringing Matang every week, so another hazard setup might be nice. And yeah, I think a few mons are kind of safe plus the requirements, although like the likes of Exploud is very good. I feel like you've already got Zadwai for like wall breaking, you don't need the Exploud as well. And Honchkrow's, I would say it'll surplus some requirements, but it's one of his only defoggers, and it's quite nice to have the dark type, and Honchkrow under webs could be quite threatening as well. So I think my suggestions are maybe look into picking up like Hitmonlee or something for a spinner. Gives you a solid fighting type, gives you a knockoff user, which I don't think you actually have at the moment, so that could be something you need to look out for as well. Now look at it. And maybe something like even a Frostlass or a Palossand would be quite nice for hazards, because you get the spikes from lights of Frostlass. And also with Palossand, you could get a solid ground type that isn't called Flygon, as well as a rocker. So that could be something to look into. But yeah, that's Tablemon. I think he has some good things. I think Freeze during the draft team shits on Executor a lot, but I quite like the Executor. I think it's a fun pick, and I think that'll be interesting to see. So yeah, let's move on to Johnny. And Johnny team, very, very threatening, very threatening. It's definitely the better hard rain team, but there's also the offensive synergy between Mega Medicham and Mimikyu there, which is just fantastic, just simply fantastic. It's great. It's got great priority, got the sneak priority of the Blade and Mimikyu, as well as Bullet Punch on Medicham and Sucker Punch on Stone Tank. And I think he just has a lot of threats in general, in all honesty, Vikavolt are threats, Just the Swift Swimmers, they're a threat in Kingdra and Ludicolo. But there are some minor flaws with this team, even though I think it's probably one of the better teams in the minors at the moment. Its hazards are not great. You've got Carbink and you've got Golem, both of which probably not come in most weeks. And there's also outside of rain, which is something you have to consider because there's going to be a few weather wars going on with the Sun teams. It's pretty slow outside of rain. In fact, it's very slow out of rain. So that is definitely something to consider as well. So what are my suggestions? I think like picking up something along the lines of Omastar would be nice for this team. Omastar will give you access to all of the hazards. It's probably something you can bring more reliably every week than Golem or Carbink. And I think like Kabutops could also be a potential ring as well, because overall is a hazard removal. Oh, it's not too bad. Like Kabutops could come in, like sell rocks and be a decent weather sweeper as well, but I don't think he needs another weather sweeper. Even though also Omastar could be a potential sweeper even outside of rain, with the likes of Shell Smash as well. So I'll probably lean towards pick up Omastar if I was Johnny, once he has the bonus points. And yeah, that could be definitely something you should probably consider going forward. But anyway, let us move on to the next segment, which is bold predictions. First of all, we'll go over the ones that were just quickly tweeted in. A few people just tweeted in like one prediction, and we'll just have a look at them first. I went for Pikachu gets 5+ kills this season. I'm not feeling confident on that prediction, but I'm going to stick with it. We got Bird, who suggested that Gyarados will get more kills than Mega Medicham, which, you know, could happen. Could definitely happen. Like, Gyarados is a pretty potent setup sweeper. Mega Medicham might disappoint people this season. I'm not sure it'll do as well as people think it will, but Johnny will probably prove me wrong on that regard. Aronskii says Mass will go 0-7, and Mass says don't steal my predictions. So we'll see if Mass goes 0-7. Like, Keegan just predicts the opposite and says Bird will eat a steak after Mass goes undefeated. We'll see. A lot of pressure on Mass. A lot of pressure on him to either lose everything or win everything. Rise has 2 predictions here. He says, I predict Pikachu to be dropped after week 2 in favour of Lucky Lantern. We'll see. Freeze then also predicts that Executor will be of no use this season whatsoever, as he said during the draft stream. Another prediction by Freeze, actually, during the draft stream, I just remembered this, was he actually has a £20 bet that if Tablemon gets a free Mon or more sweep with Tangela in the Sun with its Chlorophyll ability, you'll give Tablemon $20, and that is in there somewhere. That's locked in. So there we are. We have Matrix, of course, saying Aronskii will win the whole thing after beating Rewt and Johnny in playoffs, and of course King Bub says I will win. So we'll see, Danny. You're not in the minors, but I just decided to put it on there because it was pretty funny. Next up, we have Ultra Player's predictions. He gave me a massive pace spin of predictions, and I appreciate that because it gives me something to talk about and like put on the screen. And he definitely like put the extra effort in, so I want to like reward that by going over all his predictions in this podcast. So Ultra Player number 12, he says Johnny will have the highest record at the end of the season, which if you look at Johnny's team, it's pretty threatening, and Johnny's a pretty good player, so I could definitely see that happening. The league leader will be Mega Medicham, which I'm not entirely sure that will be the case. I think it could be. It could definitely be. But I feel like other teams just support that their Mon's a bit better than Johnny's. Mega Medicham gets supported. He says he'll make playoffs. I'm going to like skip over the make playoffs, does not make playoffs thing. You can... I'll briefly say it, but like I'm not going to take much stock into those predictions. Table 1 will bring Flygon, Lycanroc and Slowbro every game. I think overall that's a good prediction for Lycanroc and Slowbro. Not so much Flygon, even though I guess he does have Zard, so maybe he does have to bring Flygon every game. But I'm not sure if that will be the case. Executor and Tangela to get 5 kills at least under the sun. I'm guessing that's both of them together, not both of them separately. and I'm going to class it as that. I think that could definitely be a thing. The 7 games this season, I think it's a very good possibility that Executor and Tangler can get 5 kills between them under Sun. And he'll say that Tablemon does not make playoffs, so we'll see. Rewt will bring 2 electric immunities to every game. Let me just remember Rewt's draft real quick. I think he does have a fair few. Let's see. Nidoking, Zygarde. So he's saying he's Zeb Striker. Yeah, and Steelix. Okay, yeah, that's not even a bold prediction. Ultra, that's pretty solid prediction that it's going to bring the 2 electric immunities every single game, considering he has loads of them. Wins any match in which webs aren't removed on his side, I'm guessing. And yeah, I guess that could be a thing. Narrowly misses playoffs, we'll see. Narrowly makes or misses playoffs, which you choose one or the other. You don't make both, so I'm not even going to count as prediction. Next up, we have Aronskii predictions by Ultra Player. He says he'll knock off a shed shell every week that's brought versus him. I'm not sure on that. I think Aronskii is knockoff users, Seismitoad and Alolan Raticate. So we'll see. I'm not entirely sure though. And Alolan Raticate will miss exactly 3 moves all season. We'll see if Alolan Raticate even gets the opportunity to miss 3 moves all season, given Aronskii's kind of disdain for the Mon in most regards. I know he drafted it round 3, but I feel he's only going to bring it for 1 match and that's it. You say Aronskii will make playoffs, which is pretty bold, knowing Aronskii, but we'll see. He's got the predictions he has for Noah's team is it brings a different item on Zeraora every single week. I could potentially see it, but I'm not so sure. Maybe Noah will go out of his way to make this prediction come true, but I don't know. Gets at least 12 passive kills throughout the season. Do I even keep track of passive kills? I think we're going to have to now. Thank you, Ultra. You're giving me more work. But we'll see. And he says Noah will not make playoffs. Which, you know, only 3 players will make playoffs towards the end of the season. So we'll see what happens. Next, he has the Mass predictions. He's predicting Mass to bring double webs at least once. Mass, of course, with the double sticker web users on his team. So could be potential. And Mass is crazy enough to do it. None of his Pokemon will get more than 2 kills in a single game. We shall see tomorrow if that is true or not. Sebby, winner chicken dinner, I assume means that Sebby is going to win the entire thing according to Ultra, so locking that one in. I think it's a very good shout. Sebby has, I think, probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest team in minors, and I think he's a very good player, solid player overall. Munchlax will be in his top 3 in kills. I think we'll slow down on the Munchlax type a bit. I think there's so many threats on Sebby's team, I cannot see it being Munchlax. Sparrows, he predicts, will bring Swords Dance every week, which, you know, he has Bisharp, he has Mega Pinsir, so could potentially happen. We'll get 0 passive kills the entire season. Might happen. I'm not entirely sure, but it might. And his general predictions for the entire league across the board is every Mega Pokemon will get at least 5 kills. And week 3 will be the haxiest week. Stealth Rocks will not be set in at least 5 games, which, look at the hazards that some people have. I'm guessing you're thinking Johnny won't set up the hazards in 5 of his games, maybe. No 6 or Pyro games will occur. I think is a very bold prediction, because, you know, there's 4 games per week over 7 weeks. There's a high likelihood that a 5 or 6 game will occur during the course of the season. Last place on the MVP will be Golem, Seismitoad, and Torkoal. Don't underestimate Seismitoad. Seismitoad is brilliant, but the other 2 I can see coming low on the list. Every week will contain at least 2 Focus Sashes. Interesting prediction. We'll see if it comes true. And no Weather Sweeper will be in the top 10 kills, which, you know, could potentially happen despite there being several Weather Sweepers on these drafts. So, let's move on to, I guess, my predictions. I've gone for 1 per team. I've not gone quite as crazy as Ultra did. So my prediction for Johnny and his Oregon Ducklets is Mega Medicham will not be his kill leader. I think there's a high likelihood it'll be one of the Rain Sweepers or even Mimikyu over Mega Medicham. Mega Medicham doesn't tend to be kill leaders in leagues. Even in this limited format, I don't see it being the kill leader. I assume it's going to be doing a lot of damage to teams, but I don't expect it to be the kill leader. My prediction for Tablemon and his Chelseadra is Belly Drum Slowbro will be brought at least once. That's just a prediction. I think it could be funny to see one week, and I personally also brought Belly Drum Slowbro a couple of times myself when I had Slowbro, so it's a fun set to use. I predict for Rewt and his New Jersey Brobats that Vullaby will never get to click Defog this entire season. So I don't expect it to come that often, and I don't expect it to ever defog a hazard away. My prediction for Aron is Alolan Raticate will get more kills than Ditto. We'll see if Alolan Raticate even comes to matches, but I'm predicting it to get more kills than Ditto. So, bold prediction by me there. I predict that Noah will never remove hazards himself. He's always going to end up forcing someone to defog, is what my prediction is for Noah. Mastodon Gastrodons, coached by Mass, I predict Specs Claydol. That is all. Because I'm expecting Specs Claydol or something from Mass at some point. He likes to do that, throw Specs on the defensive one, see it do work. It's a Mass special, I like to call it. Anyway, Sebby and his Montreal Monfernos. Cobalion will end the season in the top 3 kill leaders. This is sort of based on what happened in Majors with the likes of Lucario, really. I want to see Cobalion do as well as Lucario, at least. I think it will. I think Cobalion has the potential to be top 3 in kills this season. And I predict for Sparrows, Volbeat will pass a Tailglow into a Mon, but that Mon will not be Blacephalon. I think he'll pass that Tailglow boost into something else, and people predict Blacephalon, and then that Tailglow Mon will end up sweeping somehow. But that's just a silly prediction, but we'll see if it comes out. So yeah, that's bold predictions. Let's move on to the fixtures. We have a few very, very good matches for you this week. In fact, we have Aronskii versus Tablemon, Allendale Arons versus Chelseadra. We have, of course, Arons' very anti-meta team, as he calls it, against Tablemon's interesting squad, which contains Zadwai and a bit, it's not really a Sun team, but it's like a semi-Sun, I guess. It's not even a Sun team, really. It's just a Zadwai with an Executor thrown on the end. But it's an interesting matchup. We'll see how these two coaches fare in their fare. Neither coach are really ingrained into the draft format, especially. This is Aronskii's third season. This is Tablemon's first season coming back from a 3-year break in draft league. So we'll see how those two get on. You got Sparrows versus Sebby. Sebby, I know, very capable coach himself, helped Nick to win the championship in the Major PL. And Sparrows has been doing okay in the leagues I've seen him perform in already. I feel like Sebby has a matchup based on teams, but we'll see. We've got the Oregon Ducklets versus Philadephia Aegislash, which is JohnnyGB versus Noah. And Johnny's very scary rain team versus Noah's more value rain team, basically cheaper rain team is what I like to say. So the two rain teams face up against each other in the first week, which is crazy. I did the schedule before the draft even happened, so that is a complete accident. The two rain teams faced each other week 1. Next, of course, we have Mass and his Mastodon Gastrodons versus Rewt and his New Jersey Brobats. Very interesting matchup. Mass is a crazy person, so I never know what to expect from him. He's either going to be really good or really bad. There's no in between with Mass. And Rewt, he's been doing very well in the leagues he's been in so far, so I expect to pull up a good fight against Mass. But yeah, that is the week 1 fixtures. I hope you enjoy those matches. They'll be going up on Friday, the 14th of September, on the coaches' respective YouTube channels, which you can find in the description below. Be sure to check them all out. So let's go over the schedule and how the all MPL this side of things, the podcast side of things, is going to be doing. The battles will be going up, of course, on YouTube every single Friday on the coaches' YouTube channels. The podcast, the MPL podcast, which you will listen to right now, will be going up on Twitch live, or be recorded live on Twitch on Sunday, 7 p.m. BST, 2 p.m. EST, and 11 a.m. PST. Battle of the Week will be going up on, well, we streamed live on Twitch on Wednesdays at the same time, 7 p.m. BST, 2 p.m. EST, and 11 a.m. PST. Which, you know, is just going to be me and maybe some others, hopefully, watching the matches live on Twitch, reacting to them, analysing them, how our coaches could have done better, or just, you know, just enjoying ourselves. It's a good chance to just watch the matches together. It'll be a fun time. And of course, we also have Pokemon of the Week going up on the Wednesdays, an hour before Battle of the Week. It is just going to be a video of me showcasing the top 3 Mons of the week, whether I feel they were, you know, funny sets, interesting sets, creative sets, or just Mons that really contributed to changing the flow of battle and winning the game for their respective coach. So, that is a schedule. I hope you join me in the future for the live broadcasts. I probably won't be doing these like post ever again. Hopefully I just get better at doing them live. And yeah, I feel a lot more comfortable that this is going to be on YouTube rather than the one that went up on Twitch, which I felt was a bit way too rambly in parts. And I say that as I ramble towards the end. But yeah, that has been the Minor Pokemon League podcast. Hopefully I'll be joined by other guests in the future. I recorded this one on a Wednesday evening, so there was never going to be anyone around for that. So yeah, I'll see you on Sunday for the Minor Pokemon League podcast, and hopefully you'll catch the battles before then on Friday. Until next time, my friends. Goodbye.